I'm so excited to show you this. I have been waiting and waiting until now so that I could record this video for you to show you. But I have to start by showing you one slide that's usually part of my chapter 14 delivery information, but it goes better with the supplementary video and this great tip that you're going to be so happy to be able to use. So let me share my screen and go into the supplementary lecture video, which is all about how to create speaking notes. Okay. I've told you that I don't want you using your outline when you give this next speech. That outline is just a little too detailed and way too tempting to read. And remember, when you read, you cannot be engaging with your audience. Not only can you not be interesting with your audience, but it's harder for you to keep your eye on them so that you can analyze them while you're speaking and adjust your speaking as you see their reactions. Okay, so how do we make speaking notes? First of all, some tips. You want to use cards. If you have note cards, they're so much easier. Now, this applies primarily to face-to-face speeches because when you have cards, when you're with an audience, it makes it easier to hold them instead of floppy pieces of paper. You can still gesture, you can set them on the lectern. If they fall, it's not a huge deal, okay, as long as you have them numbered. When you're using Zoom for speeches, using paper might be better, but still there's something nice about having the card because it's tinier. If you try to have paper with you, it makes noise with the microphone. If you try to post up the notes by your camera, it's harder for you to see paper because it's taller. Anyway, note cards work better. I don't care whether they're 3x5 or 4x6. I highly suggest using cards and trying to limit yourself to about one card for every main point, period. That's it. Maybe one card for every section of your speech, one for an intro, one for the body, front and back, and the conclusion. That might be even better, but you want them to be limited, okay? So you might be thinking, how can I fit my whole outline on the cards? You can't. That's the point. I don't want you putting every single thing on your outline on those cards. I'm going to tell you in a bit what they need to maintain, okay? Keywords and phrases only. So instead of putting the entire attention getter, maybe your attention getter is a story you plan to tell about when you were a kid, you would simply put tell story. You know what that is. And then you tell the story when you give the speech. It's going to come out a little bit different every single time. And guess what? That's okay. If you practice it and you believe in it, you won't and your own way through it. It'll be okay. You got to practice though. That's the key. So only keywords and phrases. The only exception might be quotes from something that you might be reading that needs to be verbatim from a source. And most of the time it doesn't need to be verbatim. Or perhaps something that you worded so beautifully as a metaphor or something that you want to make sure it's exactly right. Okay. You also want to hold those cards naturally if you're in a face-to-face situation. I actually suggest propping them, if you can, on your desk or your area where you're giving the speech. If you're in a Zoom environment, you have to make some adjustments, but we want it to look natural. Remember, that's the whole goal of delivery, conversational and natural. When you prepare them, you want them to be able to help you recall what you want to say. Not exactly every word, but the idea of what goes into that line in the speech. Don't worry about the exact words. If you focus on the message, that's all you need. And it'll come out rough when you first start. It's going to sound awful when you first practice it. But the more you practice it, the easier it gets. Do you see what I'm doing right here? These slides are my notes. They are keywords and phrases only, using the 6x6 rule for the most part. There's nothing for me to read. So because of that, I'm able to add to things as I think I need them. That little moment right there of me referring to what I'm doing right now, I didn't plan that. It just occurred to me here as I was talking. So I thought I would insert that to help you understand. You can't do that if you're reading from an outline or a script. Use a larger font. If you're typing them, increase the font size. If you're writing, write bigger. That primarily applies to folks that are a little older like me and have a harder time seeing up close. With my glasses, I can't see up close. If I take them off, I can see just fine. But use a larger font and make sure you're able to read them. And that will help you use them more effectively. Right. Are you ready for this? I discovered a wonderful tool that can help you create your notes. You don't even need to do the work. Yes, you will have to do a little adjusting to them because it might not be exactly what you want, but it's a fantastic first step. Okay. That helpful tool is ChatGPT. No joke. I am giving you complete permission after you create your own original outline to throw that outline into ChatGPT and let it create the notes. I've got to show you what it does. Okay, going into my internet here. Here's ChatGPT. I am going to tell it to create, and I would copy paste this. I'll even put it in my, where I have this video. If you look below the video, you'll see this exact verbiage. Start out with this. First of all, you have to create an account, by the way. If you don't already have one with ChatGPT, it's free. You can pay for a bigger version, but you don't need it. Create your account and type create speaking notes of keywords and phrases only from this outline, and then give a little colon. What I then did was I took my sample hobby speech outline. I copied the whole thing, Control-C'd it. I added it into ChatGPT, as you can see. You can see my whole outline. You've seen this already. I didn't even worry about all the indentations and all that. I just threw it in there. And then I hit do it. Watch what happens. Look at these speaking notes. Introduction. Picture this. 7 years old, grandparents' house, bacon smell, chiming grandfather clock. No, I can't find it. Picture this. You're 7 years old and you're safe and sound in a nice warm bed with your sister in the bed next to you, and it's 7 a.m. when you smell bacon in the other room of your grandparents' house and you awaken to the rhythmic chiming of the most fantastic old-timey grandfather clock. 7 years old, grandparents' house, bacon smell, chiming grandfather clock. It's okay if the words don't come out sounding exactly like this. This is just meant to give you an idea of what to say. Personal tie, my childhood inherited grandpa's clock. Personal credibility. This was my Saturday morning about 2 times a month when I was a child, and I'm happy to say I got to keep that beautiful piece after my grandpa passed away. If I practice the speech starting with this outline, use that as I start to practice first. Then when I feel like I know it pretty well, and then use ChatGPT to create these notes, this is all I'm going to need when I give that speech, because I did it enough with this to know what I want to say in order to be able to just use this. Isn't that fantastic? So if you look at that other one, this was the prompt that I put in, and this was exactly what ChatGPT generated for me. I made it. It's my creation. ChatGPT just helped me condense it into something that's usable when I give the speech. Isn't that cool? Okay, but you can't just generate it and expect to go into a Zoom using that for the first time. Practice with your outline first, then start practicing with the ChatGPT version, or if you don't want to use generative AI, that's fine. You can make your own speaker notes or adjust what Gen AI gives you. Either way, that's fine. By the way, ChatGPT is a form of generative AI. Okay, that's why I'm saying that. But practice with the outline first, then use those condensed notes. Pretty neat trick, huh? And it gives you permission to use AI.